Hey guys, it's Chris. Welcome back. In today's video, we are going to show you some of the items in my graded Star Wars comic collection. Kind of show you the grades that they got and kind of where we're going. It's the road to 110, as so I'm calling it. Just a little backstory. I've been a Star Wars collector since I was 6 years old. Star Wars came out in 1977, and since then I've collected Star Wars pretty continuously throughout the entire my lifetime. But I've always had a soft spot in my heart for the vintage Star Wars comic collection, all 107 issues and the 3 annuals that came out. My goal is to get all 110 issues CGC graded, highest as possible, shooting for a 9.8 in white pages. And today I'm going to show you some of the items that I have and where I'm going. And hopefully this weekend, it's MegaCon in Orlando this weekend. Hopefully I can add a couple more pieces to my collection this weekend. So let's get going. Up first is Star Wars 102, graded 9.8 with white pages. This one's graded by CBCS. There are two main grading companies, CGC and CBCS. They're interchangeable as far as I'm concerned. In a way, I like the CBCS labels a little bit better. I like their cases a little bit better. I like the way they grade a little bit better. And they're a little cheaper too, with better turnaround times. But again, this is Star Wars 102, graded 9.8. Get a good look at that. I love the old comic series. So much fun. Up next is Star Wars 101, also CBCS graded 9.8. Yeah, look, peek at that. Next up on the list is a CGC 9.8 of Star Wars 99. I always liked the cover on this one, especially the word balloons on it. Sorry for the glare. Next up is Star Wars 91, also a 9.8 with white pages. Bunch of Wookiees on there. Star Wars 90 is next, also a 9.8. Like I said, I can't wait to get some more of these books and go from there, and keep adding them to my collection, and eventually we'll get there. Another 9.8, Star Wars 86. Nice action shot with Princess Leia. Another 9.8 up here, number 79, Lando on the front. I have 25 comics out at CGC right now, getting graded, taking forever. This comic I had signed by the artist Bob Layton, and met him at MegaCon in Orlando a couple of years ago. But honestly, he was so unfriendly that I got the book signed and graded, got it back, and it's been sitting in my collection. And every time I look at the comic, I think of the kind of the bad experience I had with Mr. Layton, and I ended up selling the comic because he was just uninterested in really anything that was going on that day. He was more interested in having conversation with a person next to him than he was people there getting their comic signed. So this is CBCS 9.8. This is off white to white pages. I will be upgrading this at some point to a full white page book. But I just recently sold a signed one of that, mainly because I didn't like the guy. I showed this in one of my other videos, Star Wars number 74, 9.8, white pages. This is an older CBCS label, is Star Wars 73, 9.8. I thought about sending these in to get graded, get regraded by CGC so that all the labels would be identical, but I've heard horror stories about doing that, and decided just to keep the books in their original cases. Star Wars 72. I own the comic cover art to this issue. 9.8 white pages. Other than that one book, Most of them are white pages. This one's really interesting. This is Star Wars number 68. It is signed by Jeremy Bullock. I actually met him at MegaCon a few years back. I actually thought this book was in a much better condition than a 9.0 that it graded at. And by looking at the notes, the grader's notes on CBCS, they do offer grader's notes on most of their books for free. This is very pressable. The defects in this book are very pressable. And I think if I were to get this comic pressed and regraded, I think it could get a 9.6 or maybe a 9.8. That's a difference between a $700 comic and like a $2,500 comic, maybe more, because it's signed by Jeremy Bullock and he just passed away not too long ago. But it's a 9.0 signed by Jeremy Bullock. I had the Canadian version of this one, Star Wars number 66, but I just recently sold that as well. It had a 75-cent price variant on there, but this is the US version, which is what I collect. So I sold that one to basically pay for this one. It's part of work in the hobby. Got a little bit of made a little bit of profit on the other one, so it worked out pretty good. This is one that I've shown before, Star Wars 65 and 9.8. White pages on that one as well. And Star Wars 63, 9.8 as well. Again, my goal is to get all 110 issues in this series graded. Obviously, there are the 4 35-cent price variants for issues 1 through 4 that are just ridiculously hard to find. I probably won't get those due to how much they're going for on the secondary market. There's if you're interested in learning about those books, all sorts of stuff online about that subject. There's another one, Star Wars 59 and a 9.8. And a Star Wars 57 and a 9.8. And this one's pretty cool too. This one I might actually send in to get pressed as well, because I don't believe that, well, there are some spine ticks on it, so it may not grade very well. This was signed by Anthony Daniels. It's Star Wars number 47. It's graded a 9.4. It's CBCS, sorry. And it's signed by Anthony Daniels, who played C-3PO. Had a chance to meet him at MegaCon a few years ago and had him sign this book for me. I will get another one of this book in a 9.8 at some point. Similar to this guy, I had a chance to meet Michael Golden, who I own some comic art from this issue. Had a chance to meet him at MegaCon. This is a CBCS at 9.4, and he signed it for me. This is Star Wars number 38. It's the only issue that Michael Golden did in the Star Wars run. Like I said, I own a piece of art from this page, original art from this page. Pieces of art from this comic book can go for a lot of money. So I own like I said, I own one of the interior pages from this book. So that's a 9.4 white page. I'll get a 9.8 at that point, of that at some point too. And then finally up right now is a Star Wars number 1. This is a 9.0, unfortunately. I thought it would come back a little bit better than that, but it had some issues, and I can see why it graded as low as it did, but I had it signed by the artist Howard Chaykin back in 2017. Star Wars 1, 9.0. CGC graded, white pages, signed by Howard Chaykin. I will at some point get a much nicer copy of this unsigned, and this will probably stay in my collection. Or I may sell this one to pay for a much higher graded collection. 9.8s go for about $5,000 right now, unfortunately. They went for probably 1/5 of that just a couple of years ago, even less than that. Comic market has really exploded. That's all I have for now. I will be adding some more comics throughout the next year or so. Like I said, I've got 25 comics sitting out at CGC right now. They've just received them after 2 months of sitting there. So I'll get those back, and then eventually I'll send in my remaining collection to get graded as well, and see how those turn out. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you the next time.